Hey everyone, in this video I am breaking down the final volume in Ed Brubaker's Daredevil run, and this video will be the end of my Daredevil coverage here on my channel, at least for now. Thank you everyone that has been on this journey with me over the last 3 months as I went through Bendis and now Brubaker's run. So much Daredevil. I love Daredevil, but definitely ready to move on to something else. One day, I would love to cover Frank Miller's Daredevil run, as well as Mark Waid's run too. There is so much really good Daredevil out there. But for now, let's talk about this final volume in Brubaker's run. Last volume, we were introduced to Lady Bullseye. We also learned the Hand was looking for a new leader, and they offered that role to Daredevil. Daredevil turned them down, and now the Hand is potentially angling for the Kingpin to be their new leader, which is what we will see play out in this volume, and it will lead to a very messy situation. So some pretty exciting stuff going down in this final chapter in Brubaker's run. Let's dive into it now. Daredevil by Ed Brubaker Part 6, Return of the King. Daredevil by Ed Brubaker Part 6, Return of the King. Written by Ed Brubaker, art by Michael Lark, with support by Tansi Zonjic and David Aja. The Return of the King story arc covers issues 116 to 119, and then issue 500 when Marvel reverted Daredevil back to its initial numbering. Daredevil issue 116, Return of the King, Part 1, Prologue on the Costa da Morte. The last we saw Kingpin was a few story arcs ago. Matt Murdock used his lawyer powers to get the Kingpin out of jail as a favor to Vanessa Fisk, who had recently died at the time. Kingpin had to give up his US citizenship, and he left the country. After leaving the country, he flew to Europe to pay his respects to his dead wife, Vanessa, visiting her grave. So that was the last we saw of the Kingpin. But what happened to him in those preceding months to now? Kingpin wandered through Europe after the death of his wife, and he decided to go to Costa da Morte, the so-called Death Coast, in Spain. His wife, Vanessa, had always loved this part of Spain, so in a way, he is coming here to feel closer to her, to honor her memory, which is what he promised Murdock he would do. He also wanted to come here because this is a place where the Kingpin had never existed. This is a place he can disappear, a place Vanessa would have liked to retire with him. Kingpin tries to be at peace here, but he just feels alone, empty. It all feels meaningless. Even the sound of the ocean irritates him. Kingpin is failing to be happy here. He slowly feels the rage building up inside of him. But then, one day there in Spain, he meets a woman. Her name is Marta. It was a rainy day. Kingpin was staring into the ocean, and Marta asked him, "It's beautiful, no? But it does require to appreciate the rain sometimes as well." She offered Kingpin her umbrella, as she says she loves the rain herself. She manages to win Kingpin over, and he admits, "Yes, I suppose it is beautiful." Over the coming weeks, Kingpin continues seeing this woman, Marta. In a way, she reminds him of Vanessa, just a little. The way that she never lets you get away with anything. But in so many ways, she is different from Vanessa. She makes you smile at silly things. She enjoys life and isn't fragile about it. After a few months of dating, he meets her children, Adriana and Jaime. The children call him Uncle Willie, and that makes him laugh. At some point, the Kingpin tries to do the right thing and tell Marta about his past. Marta doesn't want to hear any of it, though, she says. "I know you don't come to this place with no history. You come to get away from it, to try and change. That's the man I know, the man trying to change." One day they go to a local bar, and some of the local men say some rude comments. They say, Hey, woman, why are you wasting your time with that fat one when you could be riding with a real man? Wilson grabs the man with his massive fists, and he starts crushing the man's neck. But Marta begs the Kingpin, stop, it means nothing. So Kingpin eventually held his rage back down and let the man go. The months go by. Kingpin continues to be happy, although he always worries his past is going to catch up to him. He worries that one day he will go to see Marta and the home will be up in flames, or there will be death, or there will be a squad of mafia soldiers. However, every night he is wrong and everything is fine. Until the day it wasn't. One day when Kingpin goes to see Marta, the Hand and Lady Bullseye are there, and they have killed Marta and her children. Like a switch, Kingpin is all of a sudden filled with rage. He attacks the Hand ninjas. He says to them, "Let us do this." He fights them viciously, but there are too many Hand ninjas here, and they stab Kingpin with their swords. Kingpin falls down to his knees. He is crouching over his dead girlfriend Marta's body. He just keeps saying her name over and over again. Marta! Marta! Lady Bullseye then reveals herself to the Kingpin. She tells him, "You're off your game this night, Kingpin. You let yourself get soft. A pity. No, don't bother to try and attack me. Those blades have you effectively paralyzed from the knees up." Kingpin asks, Why? Lady Bullseye answers, "Did you truly think you could walk away from it all? Is the Kingpin truly that naive? Are you a little boy? The reasons are too numerous to list, Kingpin, as you know. But if you want a specific cause, ask Daredevil. And tell him that Lady Bullseye sent you." Lady Bullseye and the Hand leave, and Wilson Fisk eventually recovers. He gets up and he manages to leave Marta's house. He sets it on fire as he goes. As he leaves, Kingpin curses Murdock and he curses this place. Daredevil issue 117, Return of the King, part 2 of 5. Kingpin has arrived back in America and he is making some moves. He connects with reliable old thug, Turk Barrett, and gets Turk to bring him to Josie's Bar and Grill. Only Josie's has now gone underground after being burned down and Mr. Fear and the Hood shooting out in it. Well, it's literally underground in a secret tunnel with a secret location. Turk opens the door and lets Kingpin in. Everyone inside Josie's Bar is aghast when they see the Kingpin. Kingpin addresses the crowd, saying, "I'm not going to make any speeches. You all know what it means that I'm here. Until I find someone suitable, Turk will be my lieutenant. Are there any questions?" Someone asks Kingpin, "What about Daredevil?" Kingpin answers, "Don't worry about Daredevil. I'll deal with him soon." Another patron asks, "So then, it's gonna be like the good old days again, Kingpin?" Kingpin replies, "Not at all. There's going to be a lot more blood." We now jump over to Daredevil. He is in the apartment of a private investigator known as Perkins. Perkins was the private investigator hired by Mila's parents to snap pictures of Matt Murdock and Dakota North in bed together. Daredevil roughs up Perkins. He tells him, "You don't get to just do what you did and walk away." Perkins pleads with Daredevil, saying, "Hey man, I was just working a job. They said you were their son-in-law. I didn't know it was you. I was shadowing that day. They gave me a fake name, man. You think I would have been there if I knew it was you?" Daredevil tells Perkins, "You damaged a friend of mine too with your pictures." Perkins pleads, saying, "Look, I destroyed all the copies. There's just the ones the Donovans have. I swear, I didn't want to hurt you or your lady. I'm just a private investigator trying to earn a living, man. I got kids. Look, you can have the memory card, the whole camera even, whatever you want, just don't kill me. Daredevil replies, I'll take it all, thanks. And you're going to do something else for me, too. Elsewhere, the blind ninja master, Master Izo, is on a rooftop in New York. He is attacked by some hand ninjas that he quickly kills and takes down. He is then visited by Daredevil. Master Izo warns Daredevil, the Hand are back, just like I said they would be. They've been sneaking into the city the past 2 days, which means whatever they left to take care of is done. So you better pull your head out and start paying attention, kid. Daredevil responds, I'll be ready for the Hand whenever they move. I don't need another Master Izo lecture about my lack of focus. Later on, Matt Murdock is back at his law office, and he is meeting with Mila's parents once again, and they are arguing over custody over Mila. The Donovans are annoyed because their initial lawyer, Maki Matsumoto, who was secretly Lady Bullseye, transferred away in the middle of their case, and now their private investigator has stopped even returning their calls. Mila's mom suspects Matt of wrongdoing, she says. Is this how you do business, Matthew? Or are you just so used to breaking the rules that they don't apply to you anymore? Matt to this says, I don't know what you're talking about, but if I'm hearing you correctly, this would be the private investigator whose pictures you tried to blackmail me with, and you're trying to take some moral high ground? Mila's mom responds saying, I'm just trying to get back of whatever's left of my child, you bastard. They all exchange some more words. Mila's dad says, we want sole custody of our daughter, or that blackmail stops being a threat, and I just dare you to call my bluff. Mila's mom chimes in, you know she's safer with us, you know it! Elsewhere, Dakota North is in a diner, and as she is eating, she is visited by that PI, Perkins. Perkins is all beat up from Daredevil punching him earlier. Perkins gives Dakota North a camera memory card with the incriminating pictures of her and Matt together. Dakota North is initially confused, but then Perkins explains what's on the memory card and he says, look, like I told your boy, your friend, I'm just trying to do the right thing and I want to apologize. I didn't know, and I never tried to sell the photos, and believe me, they would have been worth a lot. You being an ex-model and all, but Dakota North asks, you're really not so good at apologizing to people, are you? Perkins answers, look, just tell Daredevil I did it, okay? Just tell him. Later on, Dakota North goes over to Matt Murdock's home. She is not happy. She asks Matt, do you even think or do you just act? She explains all about this Perkins visiting her earlier, and she tells Matt, the guy was terrified, Matt. He was shaking. As they are arguing, Matt eventually gets a phone call. He picks it up. On the line is a thug named Chico. Chico is a low-level thug that Daredevil met recently. Chico was supposed to phone Matt Murdock if something big was going down in Hell's Kitchen. And it turns out something is. Chico tells Matt, yo man, it's a code red. I'm getting out of Dodge, your kitchen's getting too hot. There's too many cooks, way too many. Bad enough I'm feeding you intel on the guys running the street now, but we didn't sign up to rat out the Kingpin. That wasn't the deal. Matt asks, you're sure it was Wilson Fisk? Chico replies, dude, we're already in New Jersey. We saw him with our own eyes, get it? He's back. And one of the first things out of his creepy ape mouth, he said he was going to deal with Daredevil. Anyway, I just thought you ought to know. Nice knowing you, Murdock. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. Dakota North leaves during this phone call. Matt, he quickly hangs up the phone and chases after her. Matt catches up to Dakota in the street. Dakota North tells Matt, I don't know what else to do, Matt. I don't want to, but look at you. You're taking stupid risks, and I'm starting to blame myself for it. It has to end, whatever this is. So, I quit, okay? And I'm not letting you talk me out of it. Tell Foggy and Becky I'm sorry. Matt watches Dakota walk away. He doesn't want to let her go. More than anything, he wants to stop her somehow, get her to understand. Unfortunately, though, he's got company. Turk Barrack is there on the street. He is here to give Matt a message. Matt asks Turk, "Just tell me where the Kingpin is, Turk, and get the hell out of here." Later on, Daredevil, having gotten Kingpin's message, goes to meet him. They are meeting at a cemetery where Kingpin's mother is buried. Daredevil asks Kingpin, "What do you want, Fisk? Why are you here?" "What's this thing I'm hearing around town? You saying you're gonna deal with me?" Kingpin, he answers, "Yes, that's exactly what I plan to do. Make a deal." Kingpin then spends the next 10 minutes telling Daredevil all about the last few months of his life, and Marta and the kids and the Hand attacking him. Kingpin ends by telling Daredevil, "The Hand want me to go after you, Murdock, to crush you, but they don't know what they've done. I'm going to grind their bones into dust, all of them. So, are you in, or are you out?" The Kingpin, he wants to make an alliance with Daredevil, where the two of them will go after the Hand. Daredevil asks, "Well, what about after? Where does that leave us?" Kingpin responds, "That's what I like about you. You don't even realize what an optimist you truly are. I wouldn't worry about after, Murdock. I wasn't planning to survive." Daredevil issue 118, Return of the King, part 3 of 5. Leland Owlsley, the Owl, is being transported from the courthouse back to Riker's prison. The guards that are transporting the Owl are subtly poking jabs at him, calling him Leland even though it annoys him. As Leland is just about to enter the transport van, an explosion goes off in the parking garage there. A team of heavily armed men storm in. They unlock the Owl's handcuffs. One of the armed men says into a walkie-talkie, "We have the package. No fatalities." Whoever these people are, they are here to spring the Owl. Before the Owl leaves with these men, he wants to get out some of his aggression. He beats up one of the guards that was making fun of him earlier. As he is beating the man, he says, "My name is the Owl!" The armed men then escort Leland outside and bring him to a van, and inside the van is the Kingpin, waiting for him. The Kingpin is the one that sprung the Owl. Kingpin tells the Owl, "That's right, Owlsley, it was me, and I've got a job for you." Elsewhere, Daredevil and Master Ezo are on the rooftop of a church. Master Ezo believes this is one of the Hand's safe houses. The Kingpin and his men in this new alliance with Daredevil are going to arrive soon and take down the Hand inside. Master Ezo does not like this alliance. He thinks that both he and Daredevil should be dealing with these Hand inside themselves, he says. "But shouldn't we be helping with this, Murdock? This kind of thing, this is beneath both of us. We should get in there and do the dirty work ourselves." Daredevil doesn't respond. Master Ezo continues, "Master Ezo is disappointed in you." Daredevil to this says, "Yeah, well, get in line, old man." Master Ezo expresses his disappointment with Daredevil making a deal with the Kingpin. He says it's disgusting. Daredevil responds, "You wanted me to take down the Hand. That's what I'm doing, just not how you'd like." Master Ezo argues, "Listen to me, boy. You make a deal like this, work with a man like that, it taints you." Daredevil responds, "No one's going to even know about it." Master Ezo continues, "No one but you, except that ain't what I meant. I don't care about your reputation. Anyway, they're playing you. Lady Bullseye, she's using the Kingpin to get to you." Daredevil to this argues, "I can deal with Wilson Fisk when the time comes. Until then, the people that ruined my life can take the brunt of his anger. That suits me just fine. I'll see you later. I got crime to stop." As Daredevil heads off, Master Ezo comments to himself, "Sure, whatever you say. Tch, and there goes the whiniest superhero I ever met." Over at the law offices of Nelson, Blake, and Murdock, Foggy Nelson is talking to Becky Blake. Foggy is angry. Matt didn't even show up. He completely blew off the settlement meeting with Mila's parents. Foggy says he's bending over backwards to help Matt and he doesn't even show up. Becky Blake replies, "Matt hasn't called in 4 days, Foggy. Not since Dakota quit. Should we be worried about him?" Foggy answers, "Honestly, I just don't have the energy to right now. I'm too pissed off." Back to that church that Daredevil and Master Izo were at earlier. The Kingpin and his men have wiped out the Hand soldiers here. Kingpin wanted at least one of the soldiers left alive, but unfortunately they are all dead. Kingpin walks among the bodies in the church. As he is walking, he imagines himself talking to the ghost of his dead wife, Vanessa. Vanessa tells him, "It's not going to work, Wilson. They're all going to see right through you, while you try for this revenge that you know means nothing." As Kingpin argues back with the ghost of his dead wife, Turk eventually interrupts him. Turk caught a little bit of Kingpin talking to himself and asks, You okay, boss?" Kingpin answers, "He's fine." Turk continues, "Well, we got a book. Cops are on the way." Kingpin begins strangling Turk and tells him, "Don't ever question me, Turk, if you want to keep breathing." Kingpin then releases Turk and says, "Now let's go." Later on, Matt Murdock returns home. Foggy Nelson is there waiting for him. Foggy has had such a hard time lately reaching Matt, he figured he should just wait for him at his home and eventually Matt will arrive. Matt is surprised to see Foggy here. Foggy answers, "I figured you had to come home eventually. I haven't seen you at work all week. I'm not sure why, but you did get an interesting phone call a few hours ago." Matt plays his answering machine. On the answering machine is the voice of the Kingpin saying, "We did some more damage, but nothing that leads us higher, unfortunately. So I wanted to warn you, I'm bringing another player into this game. You'll know him when you run into him." After the voicemail ends, Foggy comments, "I'm not crazy, right? That was the Kingpin's voice? Leaving you some kind of conspiratorial message on your home line?" Matt answers, "No, you're not crazy, Foggy." Foggy then flips out saying, "Good God, Matt! What the hell are you doing?" Matt explains, "Look, Fisk and I are working together to bring down the Hand. They went after him, the same as they came after me. Them and Lady Bullseye." Foggy can't believe that Matt is working with the Kingpin after everything that man has put Matt through. Matt tells Foggy it's none of his business. This pisses Foggy off. He says, "None of my business. None of my business. When you go out and put on that mask and do your stupid stuff like this, it puts all of us at risk, Matt." Matt says he's going to be fine. He knows what he's doing. Foggy replies, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be just fine. Teaming up with the friggin' Kingpin of crime?" Matt tells Foggy to settle down. Foggy replies, "Don't tell me what to do. I've had it up to here with this crap, man. You're dragging Mila and her parents through hell over your pride. You cost us Dakota, the best investigator we ever had, and you don't even care." Matt asks, "I'm sorry. Would you like me to quit?" Foggy, in anger, replies, "You don't have to, Matt. You're fired." And Foggy, he leaves and slams the door behind him. Elsewhere across town on a rooftop, the Owl has called for a meeting with the Hand and Lady Bullseye. Lady Bullseye greets the Owl saying, "You put word out all over the city that you wanted to meet us, so now you get your wish." The Owl tells her, "I'm not looking for a fight here. I want to hire you." I mean, you are still assassins for hire, right? Isn't that what the Hand does? See, I used to run this town, and I plan to run it again. But if I'm gonna make that happen, there's a lot of people I need killed. Lady Bullseye, intrigued, replies, "Very good then. Let's talk." Daredevil issue 119, Return of the King, part 4 of 5. Detective Kurtz is meeting with Daredevil on a roof. Kurtz tells Daredevil that Hand ninjas have apparently killed 10 mobsters within the last week. And this isn't the Punisher, this is guys with swords and throwing stars. Kurtz then asks, is this connected to the owl breaking out? Is he going up against the ninjas or something? Daredevil was actually out of the loop on that. He responds, what? The owl is out. Kurtz continues, you don't know about this? Daredevil says, I knew the Hand were back in town, but I didn't know the owl was out. Kurtz questions, yeah man, it's been all over the news this week. Supervillain at large. Where have you been? Just what the hell have you been doing, Murdock? Elsewhere, over to Dakota North's apartment. Foggy has come to visit her, and they are talking about Matt. Foggy tells her that Matt has been working with the Kingpin to take down the Hand. Foggy also says that he fired him. Dakota is a little bit shocked by this. Foggy does admit maybe he shouldn't have done that. I mean, Matt's his best friend, but he just drives him up a friggin' wall sometimes. Foggy is really worried about Matt though, and he asks Dakota, please, you gotta help me find him. Meanwhile, Daredevil is traversing the city. He's wondering about what is going on. The owl? Is that what Fisk meant about putting another player into the mix? Is Kingpin using the owl to try to bring Lady Bullseye and her masters out of hiding, or is that just an excuse? Was Fisk hoping I wouldn't notice he's taken out all of his competition in the city? Did Fisk count on my life falling to pieces? Or is he just taking advantage of the fact that it has? Over at his office, Kingpin is talking to Ghost Vanessa. Vanessa asks, how long do you think it'll be before Murdock figures you out, Wilson? Wilson responds, Murdock is as often overestimated as he is underestimated, Vanessa. You know that as well as I do. Still, Murdock has played his part so far. I've harnessed his rage the same as my own. So, even if he sees it coming, my hands will be around his throat soon enough. His and the whole city's. Eventually, the owl comes in to talk to the Kingpin. The owl tells the Kingpin the meeting is set, just like you wanted. Kingpin responds, I'll have men on the rooftops across the way, but they're to follow this woman, Lady Bullseye, back to her master. Don't give them away. The owl responds, don't insult me, but after this, we're even, right? Kingpin answers, after it's done, perhaps. You just concentrate on completing the task at hand. Meanwhile, on the street, Dakota North is trailing Turk Barrett, hoping he will lead her to Kingpin. Later on, at a junkyard, the owl meets with Lady Bullseye and the Hand. Among the Hand soldiers are the dead and brought back to life Black Tarantula and White Tiger. The owl gives Lady Bullseye a list that Kingpin gave to him. She examines the list and then hands it off to Black Tarantula and White Tiger. She orders them, here, take these soldiers and get this done. Black Tarantula responds, of course, consider it done, Lady Bullseye. White Tiger and Black Tarantula head off with some Hand soldiers. White Tiger asks, so who is it? Who's our target? Black Tarantula answers, an old friend of yours, White Tiger. Franklin Nelson, Matt Murdock's best friend. Back at the junkyard, the owl is looking around, still talking to Lady Bullseye. Lady Bullseye knew that the Kingpin sent some men to monitor this meeting from afar. Lady Bullseye questions the owl, you're looking for your friends, aren't you? The men who were watching us, well, they won't be joining our party tonight, I'm afraid. Lady Bullseye had Kingpin's men murdered that were watching this meeting from afar. Lady Bullseye then pulls out her sword and points it at the owl. She says, let's end this charade, owl. I know you're not here for your own reasons, and even if I didn't, tonight's target would have given it away. So why don't you take me to see the Kingpin? Elsewhere across town, Daredevil is beating up some thugs, trying to get a location on the Kingpin. This thug knows nothing. Master Izo then arrives and tells Murdock, Master Izo is a busy man, Daredevil, but don't change the subject. I told you you can't control chaos. You can only fight it. Come on, boy. You want to see where Master Izo's been all day? He's been trying to find a way to wake you up. Cross town, Dakota North has followed Turk Barrett to a construction site. She sneaks onto the site with a high-powered camera, and she sees a meeting happening up above. Kingpin meets with Lady Bullseye. Lady Bullseye tells Kingpin, "I thought we could cease playing these games. Your decoy was too obvious. The owl gave himself away with every gesture." Kingpin responds, "The owl has his uses, but acting isn't one of them." Lady Bullseye then tells Kingpin, "You've earned the respect of the Hand this past week in any case. Even the deception was appreciated." As they are talking further, Lady Bullseye senses Dakota North nearby. She responds, "We're observed." Lady Bullseye throws some sort of sharp weapon into Dakota's arm from afar. Dakota, realizing she's been spotted, tries to run, but then the owl jumps out and attacks her. The owl yells, "About time I got some action!" and he punches Dakota North in the face, knocking her out. Daredevil issue 500, Return of the King, part 5 of 5. This is the final issue in Brubaker's run. Now, why is this issue 500 instead of Volume 2, issue 120? Well, if you were to go by the original Daredevil numbering and continue it onward, this would happen to be issue 500, and Marvel loves to capitalize on a big-sounding number, so they decided to revert Daredevil back to its initial numbering, making this issue 500. This issue begins with a flashback to hundreds of years ago in Japan. Master Izo is talking to another member of the Hand named Naguchi. Master Izo was still in the Hand then, but he became disillusioned with them, and he blinded himself and was going to leave. Naguchi asked Izo, "You blinded yourself, you're a fool, Izo." Master Izo responded, "No, Naguchi. Better to let the sun take my eyes than see what we have become. There is no honor left in the Hand. Our leaders could never find enough sake to wipe this shame from his mind where he's still alive. I blinded myself so I could see the world better than all of you. But now I realize you see nothing, Naguchi." Naguchi replied, "You preach sacrilege. The man will kill you." Izo to this said, "Let them try. I'll enjoy that. Of course, they'll have to find me first. Goodbye, brother. I'll miss you." And Master Izo leapt from that high mountain down below. Back in the current day, Master Izo has brought Matt Murdock to his wife, Mila Donovan. Matt had trouble finding her ever since Mila's parents moved her. Matt asks Izo, "How did you find her?" "I tried, but I couldn't." Izo responded, "I did what you could have done the whole time, boy. Did you really forget her scent? Or did you just lose yourself? I'll leave you two alone so you can figure it out." Matt stays with Mila for a while. He feels incredibly guilty. Mila's life would have been so much better if she never sought him out, if she just stayed away. Matt thinks to himself, "I'm no kind of husband, no kind of man for a woman like this. I'm just a danger, and I know it, but I keep letting them get close, living in denial, telling myself I can have it all, letting my pride, my rage control me. It has to stop. This cycle has to stop." Matt tells Mila, who seems to be sleeping now, "I'm sorry I loved you. Sorry you loved me." He then kisses her, and he leaves. Matt then goes to talk with Master Izo by the window. Izo questions Matt, "Are you okay, boy? Do you know what to do now?" Matt responds, "I guess I've always known, haven't I? I need to make a call." Matt phones Foggy Nelson, and he tells Foggy, Mila's parents, give them whatever they want. Matt then hangs up. Foggy is a little confused, but he will give Mila's parents the news in the morning. He's sure they will be thrilled. As Foggy is there in his office, all of a sudden, White Tiger, Black Tarantula, and several Hand Ninjas come in to talk to him. Black Tarantula tells Foggy, "I think a lot's about to change for you, Nelson, but not in a good way." We have another flashback to Master Izo's origin. We jump back 55 years ago. When Izo left the Hand, he formed another group called the Chaste. One of the other members of the Chaste was named Stick. He was the man that eventually would train Daredevil. Stick informed Master Izo he was being kicked out of their group, as they find Master Izo's drinking and gambling problematic. Izo tells Stick, "You people, you'll be as bad as the Hand with all your rules. Not supposed to just be their good reflection. We were supposed to be what they should have been, not a bunch of prudes." Stick responded, "Yeah, well, tell it to your bartender." Izo to this said, "Oh, believe me, boy, I will." Back to the current day again. Matt Murdock finds the thug, Turk Barrett, waiting in a car near his home. Matt questions Turk. He also smells the purse in the back of Turk's car. It is Dakota's. Matt wants to know what happened with her. Turk, he is concerned. He tells Matt, "Look, I was supposed to leave the purse on your stoop. There's a note inside from the Kingpin. He wants you running all over town tonight looking for her. Out of his way. But I don't want that, cause this shit is messed up, man. Kingpin, he ain't right in the head. Something happened to him in Europe and he ain't right no more. And a crazy frickin' Kingpin? That scares the shit out of me." So Turk then tells Daredevil where Dakota North is. Across town, the Owl has Dakota North. This must be where the Kingpin wanted her stashed for now. The Owl tells Dakota, "It's gonna be a bad night for Murdock. Personally, I'm hoping he hears about his pal Nelson being whacked first. I really want to see him unhinged again. Get me a real rematch, you know?" And in another location in town, we see Black Tarantula holding Foggy Nelson over the roof of a building. Foggy is pleading for his life, saying, "Don't do this, Carlos. You know me, we were friends." Black Tarantula responds, "No, Foggy, we aren't anything like that. We never were." White Tiger questions Black Tarantula. "Why kill him up here? We could have just killed him in his office." Black Tarantula answers, "This way it looks like suicide. We don't always have to sign our names, do we? Can't we just splatter one across the pavement once in a while?" So a whole bunch of different moving pieces are going on tonight. Will Daredevil be able to handle them all? He has Foggy Nelson's life being threatened by Black Tarantula and White Tiger in one place. He has the Owl threatening Dakota North somewhere else. And there's also the Kingpin meeting with Lady Bullseye and working out some sort of deal for something. Well, firstly, off of the information from Turk Barrett, Daredevil and Master Izo arrive where the Owl is. Daredevil and Master Izo quickly take down all of the Owl's men. Eventually, all that is left is the Owl, and Daredevil is especially angry at the Owl tonight. The Owl yells at Daredevil, "You son of a bitch, I'm gonna kill you!" And Daredevil responds, "No, you're never going to hurt anyone again." The Daredevil narration reads, "I go further than I need to, but I don't care. I heard every word this monster said. I know what he was planning to do to Dakota, so I take away his arms and legs. I know just which nerves to sever. He'll survive. It won't even look like much, but the Owl is done hurting people I care about." And Fisk is next. After Daredevil destroys the Owl is lying unconscious on the floor. Dakota then tells Daredevil, "Matt, oh, thank God. The Kingpin's with Lady Bullseye. They're making some sort of deal, but that doesn't matter. The Owl said that they're after Foggy too. They're gonna kill him." Master Izo, he is not concerned though. He tells Dakota, "Easy girl, don't worry about that. I told you, I've got a man inside the Hand." At the end of last volume, we were told that Master Izo had an inside man in the Hand, but we never learned who it was. It turns out that inside man is Black Tarantula, aka Carlos Lamuerto. Back over to Black Tarantula. He is holding Foggy Nelson over the roof of that building. He still for now appears loyal to the Hand, but he was just working undercover, and he finally switches his allegiances. Black Tarantula tells Foggy, "Tuck and roll, Nelson." Black Tarantula tosses Foggy aside, and then he begins attacking White Tiger and the rest of the Hand. White Tiger, who is still loyal to the Hand under their dark magics, yells at Black Tarantula, "Traitor! You traitorous scum!" Black Tarantula then kicks her in the face, and then he turns to the rest of the Hand ninjas and tells them, "You creeps don't know how long I've been waiting for this." We now have a flashback to several months ago. We will learn how Black Tarantula infiltrated the Hand. We see Black Tarantula talking to Master Izo. Master Izo tells Black Tarantula, "It will be too late for the White Tiger, but you'll have to pretend you don't know that. Then you'll have to let them take you. Once they revive you from the dead, your healing powers will cleanse their evil from your mind." Black Tarantula, nervous about letting the Hand kill him and reviving him and putting him under their control, is worried that his regenerative powers will not overcome their evils. He asks Master Izo, "Are you sure about that?" Izo answers, "I'm sure, boy. It just might take a while. And for that, I'm truly sorry." Back to the current day. Black Tarantula is no longer under the Hand's control. He has slayed the Hand ninjas here and has knocked White Tiger out. Tarantula tells Foggy Nelson what's going on, and then he tries to heal the White Tiger, try to save her, see if he can help her overcome their dark magics. We now jump over to Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. He is with Lady Bullseye, and they are in some sort of ceremony room with many Hand members. This is the Hand's inner sanctum. Wilson Fisk is a candidate to become the new leader of the Hand. Kingpin, after talking to the group for a bit, asks, "Tell me, which of you ordered the attack on my home in Spain? The slaughter of the woman and her children?" Lord Hirochi reveals himself. He tells Kingpin, "I am Lord Hirochi, and I gave that particular order to free you from the trap you'd placed yourself in, pretending to be an honest man." Kingpin grabs Lord Hirochi by his neck and strangles him to death. After he is done killing Hirochi, Kingpin turns to the rest of the group and asks, "Now that that's settled, let's talk about this offer, because having an entire army of ninjas at my command, that's starting to seem very appealing." There are 3 Hand ninjas sitting on chairs near the front of the room. These must be the senior members of the Hand. They tell the Kingpin, "I'm afraid it isn't as simple as that, Wilson Fisk. You are not our first choice for one. And even then, there are steps which must be taken." At that moment, Daredevil and Master Izo come crashing into the room from the glass roof. The senior Hand members scream out, "This is an outrage! How dare you! Seize them all!" Fighting begins. Daredevil goes after Lady Bullseye. As he is trading blows with her, he thinks that her training is very good. Her rage is too focused, too cold. She's as good as the real Bullseye, at least as good, but I've beaten him too many times. Daredevil manages to make quick work of Lady Bullseye, knocking her to the ground. Meanwhile, Master Izo begins to attack Kingpin. At first, he taunts him, saying, "Not so fast, fatso!" Before we see the rest of the fight play out, we go back in time a half an hour, when Master Izo and Daredevil were on their way to confront the Hand and Kingpin. Master Izo is trying to talk Daredevil into becoming the new leader of the Hand. Daredevil thinks that this plan is too insane. Izo argues, "And putting on a mask and prancing on the rooftops every night is what? Forget your revenge on Kingpin. The Kingpin cannot get control of the Hand. That marriage of evils, it can't happen. But you might be able to change them. If, they don't corrupt your soul first." Daredevil asks, "And what if they do?" Izo answers, well then, we'll have to kill you, won't we? We jump back now to the present, right in the middle of all the fighting. Master Izo is still fighting Kingpin and taunting him further, saying, careful, don't have a heart attack, fatty. Kingpin yells back, shut your stupid mouth. With Lady Bullseye knocked down, Daredevil grabs one of the ninja lords there, and he holds a sword to the man's throat. Daredevil, wanting to ensure that Kingpin does not become the new leader of the Hand, and wanting to perhaps shape the future of the Hand, decides that this is the only way. Daredevil says to the group, I want to know if your offer is still open. Do you still want me to join you to lead the Hand? One of the main Hand ninja lords there tells Murdock, we are not known for being indecisive, Mr. Murdock. Kingpin, seeing what Daredevil is trying to do, is outraged. He yells, no! What is he doing? Master Izo answers, I think it's called stealing your thunder. Daredevil, he continues talking and says, well then I accept, but I have 2 conditions. The Hand are never to do business with Wilson Fisk again. Kingpin, he yells out, Murdock! You're a dead man! A dead man! Daredevil continues, and Lady Bullseye is to be cast out. She can't be trusted. She had her own agenda the entire time she's been working for you. The Hand Ninja Lord there says, we can agree to these conditions. Daredevil then tells the Hand there, now get them out of here. The Hand Ninja Lord replies, as you wish. Lady Bullseye and Kingpin are then thrown out. Daredevil is then told if he wants to become the new leader of the Hand, he will have to prove himself. The next day, Foggy Nelson and Dakota North arrive at Matt's house. They find a note there. The note says that Matt wants them to put his stuff in storage. It doesn't say why or where he's gone, but Foggy has a feeling Matt's not coming back anytime soon. Elsewhere, Wilson Fisk is disappointed that he lost. He is not the leader of the Hand. Ghost Vanessa Fisk tells him, I told you, Wilson. I told you it wouldn't end, that you would never win. Kingpin tells his dead wife, please, Vanessa, just go. On a rooftop, Lady Bullseye is talking to Master Izo. Lady Bullseye tells Izo, you lied to me, old man. You said I would lead the Hand. Master Izo answers, I said a lot of things when I was training you, girl. Said whatever I needed to say. Lady Bullseye accuses, saying you were as bad as them. Master Izo answers, no, I didn't put you in a cage and sell you to the Yakuza. Lady Bullseye replies, you still used me? Master Izo to this answers, yes, I did, but I'm not going to apologize. Lady Bullseye tells him, someday, I'll kill you for this. You know that, right? Master Izo answers, yeah, well, get in line. Master Izo then jumps off the roof and gets away. We now see Matt Murdock in a red robe. He is being led into the dungeons of the Hand. The ninjas there tell him, this way, Murdock. Our dungeons await you deep beneath your city. Now we shall see, brother, if the King of the Hand has truly returned. As Matt is being led into these dungeons, his narration reads, I have so much to answer for, so much to prove. This won't be an easy road or a short one. Master Izo has made that very clear, but I won't be alone on it. Black Tarantula and White Tiger will have my back, which I'm assuming will be exposed a lot in the coming weeks as the trials of the Hand initiation begin. I think about all the mistakes I've made, all the friends I've caused so much pain. I think about Mila's lost sanity, about Dakota's broken heart, and I know I deserve whatever awaits me below. Yet I pray I have the strength to endure it anyway. And then I smile because I honestly can't remember the last time I prayed. And with this, with Matt becoming the new leader of the Hand, we end Ed Brubaker's Daredevil run. Alright, so that was the final volume of Ed Brubaker's run. Let me go through my thoughts on this one. I love this volume. I thought it was really fun. Lady Bullseye, Dakota North, The Hand, Kingpin coming back into the story. Anytime you got Daredevil and Kingpin together, it's usually really exciting. I liked first that they teamed up, Kingpin and Daredevil, but then Kingpin kind of betrayed Daredevil and he wanted to become the leader of the Hand. So then Daredevil was forced into action. And I love how this volume ends, where Daredevil is the new leader of the Hand, which is a really exciting status quo shift here. You know, one thing I really think is kind of fun is that it seems like the Daredevil writers pass the torch on to the next writer by putting Daredevil in a really crummy situation at the end of their run. So at the end of Bendis's run, Daredevil was in prison, and then Brubaker took over. And then Brubaker's run ends with Daredevil becoming the new leader of the Hand. And that is where the next writer, Andy Diggle, is going to have to continue onward from. So just a really fun kind of thing that has been going on there in Daredevil comics that I think is pretty cool. So yeah, one thing I will say though is that Andy Diggle's run is not very critically acclaimed. A lot of people not a big fan of it. Most of it is kind of blamed on Marvel editorial forcing this Shadowland story arc. So yeah, Diggle's run not very well liked, but his run is very short, and then Mark Waid's run begins, and Mark Waid's run is very critically acclaimed as well. So yeah, if you're going to continue on reading from here, you know, power through Diggle, and then check out Mark Waid's run, because his run is fantastic. Now, as of this moment, I will not be covering those, but maybe one day we shall see. Another thing I want to talk about Ed Brubaker's Daredevil run here is Mila Donovan. So Mr. Fear drove Mila Donovan insane, and if you noticed, that has not been resolved. Mila Donovan is still insane. She is still stuck in this asylum where they are taking care of her. And that's an interesting shift there too. And spoiler alert, as of 2023, Mila Donovan is still insane. She has not been cured. So that is still ongoing. And that's pretty crazy that you know, Daredevil really lost there. His girlfriend is insane. Now, it reminds me of, you know, Karen Page, Matt's old girlfriend there, she died. But Mila Donovan, she's still alive, but she's insane. And, you know, I would think dying is worse, but having your girlfriend being driven insane and stuck in an asylum is more of a spit in the face. So, yeah, I think that is just really intriguing there. So, yeah, I really liked Ed Brubaker's run. I'm going to give this volume a 9 out of 10. Really solid stuff. On the whole, I do think Bendis's run was better, but still, I love both of them. One of my favorite story arcs, though, I do think is Ed Brubaker's The Prison storyline, the very first volume in his run. That was so good. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed my Daredevil coverage here and the journey I took you all on. It was really fun. So thank you all for watching, and I'll be back in the future with a new comic series. So I will see you all then there for those future storylines.